Welcome everybody to another custom body fitness video clip. We have here my friend Jake, and we want to share with you his story and tips, of course, so you can follow these tips and you can get those results. More than anything, this is the reason why we're doing these videos. And I'm very excited to introduce my friend Jake and hear his story and actually teach you what you can do so you can lose weight. Jake, welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
It's great having you here.
Glad to be here.
Let's begin from the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell me your story. How everything started, your journey, your weight loss journey.
Man, well, I think I came to you out of embarrassment at first. I was very nervous because I was at a point in my life where work was just very crazy. I had a lot of stress, relationships and friendships, and just work was piling up, and I needed something to get that release. And I kind of emailed you out of a dare, out of my friends and someone else, that I was like, I need to hold myself accountable to something. And what I knew deep down inside was I was kind of insecure about how I was looking, and I just wanted to take control of something. And the only thing I thought I could take control of was my health. So I emailed you, we had a couple conversations, and then I think it was your invitation, based upon my questions, that really kind of made me feel at ease to try something different, because I'd tried to exercise before, but I think it was really kind of the mental invitation that I needed, that I could do something different, for myself.
So you were very stressed,
yeah.
And you noticed that you were out of shape, and you wanted to take control of something,
yeah.
But you don't know where to start because of embarrassed.
Yep.
And you decided in that moment, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna email Custom Body Fitness, and then I responded to you.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how everything started.
I can't remember specifically what the conversation was, because we had a couple different ones, but I think the initial invitation was, hey, I want to lose some weight. I'm just trying to I want to feel more comfortable about myself. But I had thought originally that just losing weight would make me feel better. And I think immediately you recognize that it's not possible. You have to have the mental focus first. And it was that conversation with you that exercise is more than just lifting weights. It's about the attitude, and it's about the mental clarity that I think was really. I
remember now.
Yeah, and it was well, I thought I just could lift weights and I'd get better. But no, you were specific about eating healthy and dedicating time. And over time, it definitely, I've seen some results.
Let's talk a little bit about your results. So, what's the percentage you lost?
I just found out today that I'm down to 16% body fat.
Nice. Where were you?
I was pushing 30. I think I was 29 point something. And I thought that 30% was okay, but according to the national average, that's still very obese, which I think half the country is technically obese. I didn't feel obese, but I felt out of shape. I felt like I couldn't just fully live my life as comfortable and as confident as I wanted to. And I just found out this morning I'm dropping down to 16%. And over the last 5 months now, I think I felt more... I felt the strongest I ever have. I felt the most active and the most confident. If I want to go climb something, or if I want to go arm wrestle some guy in a bar, or if I want to go tackle a mountain lion, then sure, I could probably do that. But I'm not saying I will, but I'm saying I have much more confidence than the old 30% body fat Jake.
That you didn't think you can do things.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. I think it's been cool to kind of watch it slowly pick up progress. And I think with my height, my weight, my body type, you notice changes in different areas, and so there's definitely things that I still am excited to work upon. But I think the overall picture, I've noticed the biggest change has been my mental attitude, and
we're gonna talk about those three things.
Okay.
Let's begin by eating.
Yeah.
Tell me about the changes that have given you results. How you used to eat before.
Yeah.
And what did you learn? And how you make those decisions about choosing the foods that you're choosing. Sure. Let's talk about the food that you're choosing and the decisions that you're making.
Yeah. The old Jake was on a steady diet of restaurants, fast food, and just convenience store just items. I think I didn't think it was bad because it said low fat or it was diet, and I didn't eat entirely unhealthy, but I wasn't consistent with eating healthy, and I've been trying to do that since I've been here. Is packing my own lunch, which I think is a huge change for me, just because I'm not forced to just find the most convenient thing when I'm traveling. I've been eating more vegetables just because it's definitely recommended, and I've noticed a change. I like it. It's kind of a different little peak, but I think it's just the consistency in being mindful about what you are eating versus what you just want to eat at that time.
That's a key word, mindful.
Yeah, and I've definitely noticed that too, where processed foods really stands out. We've had that conversation a lot of times versus what's processed and just what's not. But trying to eat healthy doesn't always mean like you're just eating twigs and berries. You can have really healthy, delicious food. It's just knowing what it is before you just throw it in your mouth, and so.
Yes.
And I think before I was just in a hurry on stress and time constraints just to eat what was in front of me, and so I'm just trying to be more aware. So
of what you're eating.
Of what I'm eating.
So now, instead of just eating unconsciously, you know what's processed.
Yeah.
And you're still eating, but you're making that conscious decisions thereof. And I think many people struggles with that because they're stressed in life, because they want to make money, because they need to get this job done, because they need to travel, whatever. They just want to eat something instead of making a conscious.
Yeah.
Just like when you go to work, right? Mm-hmm. When you go and build a house, you don't just do it. You're conscious about how you're building it so it doesn't collapse.
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
Start with a solid foundation, and it requires, that building block to build the rest of things upon. And I think for me, like eating healthy was definitely something I had to just bring myself, just educate myself about, which wasn't difficult. I mean, a lot of people say it's the hardest thing, and it can be if you want it to be. But I still have cheat days, but I know not to gorge out, and get too crazy. And if I do, then I just show up and consistently work out, But,
now, that leads me to the next question.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your workout now. Yeah. Same thing. Let's talk about what has been difficult about exercise. Open the time. Mm-hmm. You come at 5 in the morning. Yeah. And not only opening the time and come and exercise, because it's not about showing up, and you know that. Right. It's about giving your best here.
Right.
And you know that it should be a challenge every single time. Definitely. So exercising is not easy. That's why many people are not in shape. Otherwise, everybody will be in shape. If it was just like go sit in the bar and have a drink, then everybody will be in shape. It's difficult. Yeah. How do you overcome those difficulties? How do you open time to come to exercise? How do you make it a priority? And what do you tell yourself when you're lifting the heavy weight?
Man, that's a big question. I think my biggest enemy in the whole process is my own mind, and it's just trying to overcome that like frustration that you should sleep in or you should just skip a day. But like I said before, I think my biggest frustration was just trying to deal with all the stress that life has, that I wanted to take control of something, and the one thing I knew I could control was my mind. And that was, if I'm going to do something, I want to pick a time, which unfortunately 5 o'clock is like my only free time, but I wanted to commit 1 hour for myself, 3 days a week. And so for me, it was just really just trying to overcome that negative voice. I don't know if we can say bad words on here, but there's that inner demon or that inner bitch that just constantly just nags and says that you can't do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting up. I'm going to go do this. And so I'm
laughing because I know everybody has that.
And that's the thing. I think that's the one voice that I was trying to silence was that negativity. And like I said, I don't have my notes with me. I could probably go read them later to you. But it was I remember thinking that first time we had conversation about goals was just I wanted to take priority of something in my life. And for me, it was just finding a time that would work. And 5 o'clock in the morning isn't convenient, but it was the one time I knew I didn't have distractions. I could just show up. And I was tired a lot of the times. I would show up at 4:59, or I'd wake up at feels like 4:58, and I'd still try to get here and pretend that I'm awake. But it's the fact that I was here. I don't think I had ever left a session not feeling happy that I made it. Like being here at the end of it made it worthwhile. Like even if it was a bad workout, like I felt good mentally knowing that, you know what, the rest of my day has to look good, you know.
Yeah,
so,
that's all that mental thing, right?
Yeah.
How you start your day is how your day goes,
Yeah.
even though things go wrong.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. I had a lot of crappy days after 5 o'clock in the morning, but I still could look back and say, you know, that was the one thing that like I felt confident about myself. I was able to make it. And I have a lot of friends that go to the later sessions or the evening sessions, and they tell you too, like, you know, even though their day is crazy, for them that would be their release. They would dedicate that as an opportunity to just disconnect from whatever they were dealing with during the day. For me and my schedule, it wouldn't work. I would love to go work with them in the afternoons or the evenings, but just to have that release, I think a lot of people can enjoy as well. Just to have a disconnect from the world and say, hey, you know, because I would think they would say the same thing. Like even after that session, even if it was a bad session, they would leave mentally feeling great. Like, you know.
Okay, so when you lift in the heavy weights,
Yeah.
when you end the training, when you're not awake yet,
Yeah.
and then I come and tell you, get those heavier weights or something like that,
Yeah.
and you do it because you know you can, but
Yeah.
just like I see that inner demon right there telling you can't do this, it's too early or whatever. How do you combat that? How do you fight that back? What do you tell yourself?
Man, there's a part of me that wants to like pretend to pick up the weight and put it back down, but you're always watching, so I know that like I think for me it's just trusting in you that you're not trying to hurt me and you're not trying to like push me faster than I'm ready to go, but it's for me personally it's just trusting in the fact that like I don't really know what I'm doing and I just need somebody to kind of give me some guidance. And I think part of that letting go is allowing me to see the results. When I'm trying to do it myself, I lift the same weights the same time and I get the same results. And for my entire life I thought that like jogging around the block for 20 minutes would be enough, but like I never could push myself past that next level. So getting the advice and the encouragement from you or Eric or Cynthia, like I think it allows me, although I'm hesitant at times, like to trust the process.
You said it right. Trust the process.
Yeah.
It's fear. I think what many people are stopped by fear.
Yeah.
Fear of getting injured, fear of losing things, fear of whatever. And just in general, let's talk about your mindset. One, how do you used to think before, and now how do you think? How you think you have progress in that area?
I think I'm trusting myself a lot more, and having seen the results and knowing where I was, I think has allowed me to expand my confidence in other areas. You know, I have got a couple other things I've considered doing, and I'm feeling now that little voice of encouragement in my mind like is beginning to speak louder. I do feel more confident seeing the results, especially over time. And I think a big key to that is tracking that progress. I think the fact that when we started with writing out the goals and clarifying what that was, it gives me a resource to kind of go back to and think, wow, my head was really back there thinking these things, you know, and now to think, well, I don't think that about myself at all anymore, you know, like I think there's a huge change when you put in that work to track that progress, you know, whether it's a journal entry or whether it's a monthly meeting with you. When you have the ability to reflect upon that, then you gain that perspective. And I don't think I had perspective before, so I felt like I was in this tunnel of just of negativity and frustration, but being able to kind of track that has allowed me to see the progress that I've made when I probably couldn't see it on my own, you know.
Perfect. Okay, so the last question. What would you recommend for people to either start losing weight, start their journey, or for people to lose weight, somebody that already started? What do you think is the most important for people to do to actually get in shape?
Yeah, I think probably the most important thing you can do is just have an honest conversation with yourself about who you are and who you want to be, and And for me, like it was a conversation I had for a long time. But the biggest challenge I would give you is just email Custom Body Fitness, you know, because, and you can be as honest as you want, and Sandro will be as honest as he is, because I think it was your truth that allowed me to kind of just realize that what I had thought was an issue really wasn't an issue. It was just the way I was thinking about it, and then changing that perspective. And I would challenge anybody else out there to just kind of pursue that, for themselves, to figure out what it is, because you can't just say that I'm just going to go exercise for 30 days. It's more of a personal commitment for yourself than it is a commitment to the gym or to lifting a certain amount of weights, So.
Yeah, and one thing that I learned, and it makes sense, people don't like people who lie.
Yeah.
And if you lie to yourself, you don't like yourself. And also, if you're not committed to something, your self-confidence go lower, because you're not committed to it, and you know that you're not committed, and you know that you're not giving, and that's why your self-confidence go down. If you commit to yourself, like you say, it's not to the gym, it's not to me, it's not to the trainer, it's not to anybody else, it's to you, and you follow your commitment, your self-confidence raises.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Anything else?
I'd say, I don't know, it's interesting, working out in the mornings. I think some of the strongest people are the women that I'm working out with, seeing their mental focus. For me, sometimes that's encouraging. And there's so many different people that show up here, but the 5 a.m. class is obviously different than the 6, the 7, the 8, but I'm just saying, everybody's going to be coming for their own reasons, but you gain encouragement from the craziest places. I'm not lifting weights next to a bunch of muscle-bound guys, that are just, doing the old pat on the back. I finally lifted what I want, but I'm seeing what some of these people show up with, and just, encouraged by their focus and encouraged by their intention of what they want to do. And I'm like, well, that's why we're here. We're trying to make some healthy changes in our minds, and the result shows up on our body.
Yeah, you're right. We're an army. We are people that we're just trying to improve your life. We're in the same boat. Yeah.
So
perfect. Thank you, Jay. That was great. I really appreciate it, my friend. You have no idea.
So here it is, 60%.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for continuing following us. I hope you like this interview and you learned something out of this, and just apply it. Jay said very good things, and I think one of the things that he keeps repeating, I think it's amazing, is your state of mind, the way you're thinking, the things that you say that you think you need to exercise, but it's not that, right? You need to actually it's actually control your mind. That's what you need to do. Control your mind. Take control of your mind. Once you take control of your mind, everything gets easier. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Please comment in the video if you have any questions.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the content offered here, then I know you will enjoy these books. These are great tools to lead you to successful weight loss, better health, and greater happiness.
Take one. Well, it all started when I was a small boy. I was raised on Twinkies, macaroni and cheese, and Doritos. I thought Gatorade was the choice of athletes' drink. It's what they drink all the time. You saw it on TV, that and Coca-Cola. But as I grew older and much slower on the playground, I realized, well, camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two. I'd also like to register an official complaint to your video. Since I started working out, my clothes don't fit. I've had to change them. Yeah. I don't know if you got that one on video. That was my complaint.
That good. It's a good complaint.
Now my clothes don't fit anymore. I have to get smaller ones.
Let's pause this for a minute.
Let me pause it.
Thank you.